Most men who struggle with erections assume the same thing, and it wastes a lot of time and can potentially waste your money too. The thing they assume is that something must be physically wrong. Blood flow, testosterone, circulation issues, venous leak. And honestly, that seems like a logical conclusion because erections look mechanical. Blood goes in, penis gets hard. Simple. Here's something interesting. If your ED is mental instead of physical, there's usually very obvious clues, and most guys miss them. So instead of telling you what the problem is, let me ask you a few questions, because if several of these sound familiar, there's a very good chance your body isn't broken. Good news. So there are 7 clear signs that erectile dysfunction is psychological instead of physical. You don't need to have all 7. Actually, even a few of them can be a strong clue about what's really going on. So here's the 7 signs your ED is mental, not physical. Sign number 1. Think back to when this problem began. Was there a moment where you lost an erection and it surprised you? Maybe alcohol, maybe stress, maybe nothing obvious at all. But after that moment, the next time you went into a sexual situation, was there just a little voice in the back of your head asking, is this gonna happen again? Because once that question appears, something else very interesting starts happening during sex, which is sign number 2. Be honest with yourself on this. During sex, have you ever had the thought, am I hard right now? Or am I losing it? Or am I hard enough? And if those thoughts show up, let me ask you something else. Do you think that those thoughts are sexy? Do you think that asking yourself, am I hard, is capable of giving you an erection? Because once that thought shows up, the whole experience of sex starts to change. And when that happens, the emotion around sex usually changes too. Which brings us to the next sign. Sign number 3. When you imagine the next time that you're gonna have sex, what emotion shows up first? Is it excitement? Pressure? Maybe a little worry? Maybe the thought, please let it work this time. And if that feeling shows up before sex even starts, what do you think that does to your body? Because once pressure enters the situation, erections start behaving very strangely. And that brings us to the next clue, sign number 4. Are your erections stronger in some situations and weaker in others? Maybe when you're relaxed, maybe when you're alone, weaker when there's pressure, or when it's someone new, or someone that you really care about. If erections were purely mechanical, why would they change depending on the situation? Now, this is where a lot of guys start trying to fix the problem. So that brings us to sign number 5. Maybe you've tried something like Viagra or Cialis. Maybe sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't work, and that's confusing. Because if the problem's mechanical, why doesn't it work all the time? Because if the problem were purely physical, a drug designed to increase blood flow should work almost every time. So why would the exact same pill work one night but fail the next night? What changed? When that doesn't fully solve the problem, most guys move on to the next stage. Sign number 6. This is where Reddit medical school usually begins. Let me guess, you've Googled things like venous leak, nitric oxide, low testosterone symptoms. Maybe you've tried supplements. Maybe you've read studies at 2 in the morning. At this stage, most guys become full-time penis biochemists. But let me ask you something. After all that research, is the anxiety getting better or is it getting worse? And then something happens that confuses a lot of men. Sign number 7. Do you ever wake up with morning wood or get hard alone? Maybe during masturbation. But then when you're with a partner, things don't cooperate. If that's true, if that's what you're experiencing, think about what that means. Your body clearly knows how to get an erection. So do you think that it just forgot how to get hard when you're with a beautiful woman? All 7 of these signs point to the same thing: anxiety. Not a physical failure. Your nervous system has just learned to associate sex with pressure instead of excitement. And when that happens, your body activates the fight or flight response, which literally is designed to shut down your erections so that you can get away from a tiger. That's why most guys think that their erections are domino number 1. They're not. They're usually domino number 20, which means by the time that you're in the bedroom, the chain reaction started long before sex ever began. Sometimes hours earlier, sometimes days earlier. The good news is that anxiety is extremely fixable. When you learn how to reset those earlier dominoes, guys go from losing erections to consistently staying hard again every single time. And they have a normal, healthy sex life. And if you want to see how to reset those earlier dominoes so staying hard actually becomes simple again, because once the earlier dominoes fall the right way, erections stop being complicated. They become effortless again.